Miniature Golf Project. Bank Shot Strategy Instructions for 1 bank, 2 bank, and 3 bank. You will be given 18 miniature golf maps. For each map, you will analyze the hole and design up to 3 different shot strategies using reflections and angle relationships. Redraw using graph paper if needed. For the hole you'll be making a physical model of, all 3 shot strategies need to be completed. Your goal is to determine how a golfer could score a hole-in-one using a 1 bank shot, 2 bank shot, or 3 bank shots. If a strategy is not possible for a particular hole, you must clearly state "not possible" and explain why. We must use a straight edge and careful measurements. Use a different color for each bank shot strategy. Let's look at part A, the 1 bank shots. Banking off of 1 wall. For holes 1, 2, 7, 10, and 17, specify the color used for 1 bank shots. For this example in the video, I'm going to use purple for that. The starting position of the ball is B and the hole is H. Choose 1 wall for the ball to bank off and label it W1. Reflect the hole H across wall 1 using graph paper squares or mirror reflection logic. Label this reflected point H1. Draw a dotted straight line from the ball B to H1. Mark the point where this line intersects wall 1. This is the bank point. Draw the actual path of the ball. Solid line from B to the bank point, and the solid line from the bank point to H. The only hole that you want to measure and label the angles of incidence, reflection, and the remaining angle will be the one that you choose to make your real model for. When you draw your lines, keep in mind that we reflect it across a wall. The angle of incidence and the angle of reflection should be about the same. In reality, I and R can be slightly unequal due to either air resistance, friction, surface imperfections, or the ball's spin. When you're drawing it on your paper, make it as equivalent as possible. Here's an example of when it would not be possible. Notice that from wall 1 to the hole, it would go through the wall. Let's look at hole number 1 and do this. On hole 1, we're going to reflect it across this line right here, and that's going to be our wall 1. We have our hole. There's 1 space in between the hole and that wall, so we reflect it across that wall. There will also be an empty square on the other side. And so your reflected H would be right here, and we can label that as H1. We're going to connect with the straight edge H1 to the starting position. We do it with the dashed line. And then we could do a solid line in the actual part of the hole. We could label the point that goes from, that touches the wall here. We'll call that W1. And then we're going to take that straight edge again and go from wall 1 to the hole. And that is the first hole worked out for a one bank shot. For part B, the two bank shots, you're banking off of two walls. You'll try to do this strategy for holes 4, 5, 8, 11, 12, 14, and 16. In the example on this video, I'll do this one in the color red. Everything will be about the same, except for instead of just labeling a W1, we also label W2, which is the second wall the ball will hit. It's the one closest to the hole. The first hole, the first time you reflect the hole across wall 2, you're going to call that H2, and then reflect that point that you create across wall 1 to create H1. You're going to go from the starting position to wall 1 to wall 2, and then wall 2 to the hole. Let's look at hole number 4 for this example. Alright, so we're going to choose two walls for the ball to hit. Let's say that it hits this wall first and then this wall second. We're going to reflect the second wall first. We have 1, 2, so it goes through two grid lines on this side, so it needs to go through two grid lines on the other side of the wall. 1, 2. And we're going to label that H2. And now let's reflect H2 across the first wall, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw a point, label that H1. Now we can connect our lines. So we're going to go from H1 to the beginning. And then we have wall 1. We call it W1. And then we're going to connect wall 1 to H2. And then where that wall intersects, we're going to call that W2. And then with the straight edge, go from W2 to H. And then let's make these lines outside of the actual course dashed and just erase it. You want to first connect these and make lines with the pencil, and then go back through and use the colors. Or you could use an erasable pen, that will work as well. Part C is the three bank shot, the challenge shot. You'll try this strategy for holes 3, 6, 9, 13, 15, and 18. In this example video, I'm going to do this one in brown. This time you're going to have three walls. Wall 3 is closest to the hole, then wall 2, and then wall 1 is going to be the one that's closest to the starting place. You'll reflect H over wall 3 to get H3. You reflect H3 over wall 2 to get H2, and then reflect H2 over wall 1 to get H1, and then connect H1 to the starting point. Here's an example of this one. Let's look at hole number 13 for this one. We're going to hit 3 walls. Let's hit this one first, this one second, and this one third. All right, so if we reflect the third wall with H, we have 1, 2, 1, 2. Label that H3. And then let's reflect the H3 across wall 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Label that H2. Reflect H2 across wall 1 to get H1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Label the H1. And now connect H1 to the starting position. This is going to be wall 1. Connect wall 1 to H2. And then connect wall 2's intersection to H3. And then wall 3's intersection to H. Okay, let's label each of the walls W1, W2, and W3. And then erase the lines on the outside to make them dashed. Physical model requirements. After completing your drawings, build a physical miniature golf hole using materials such as cardboard, foam board, or similar items. The layout must match one of the given designs. The ball must be able to follow the predicted path. You will present your model to the class, including explaining the part of the walls needed to hit to make a hole-in-one and try to make that shot. Realize that ball speed, hole surface type, golfer accuracy, and other factors may influence the success of the hole-in-one. I would say the spots on the wall to hit, make them a different color on your physical miniature golf hole to help indicate those points. Here's the grading rubric. Here's the categories. Accurate drawings for 1 bank, 2 bank, and 3 bank shots. Correct use of reflections and straight line paths. Angles of incidence and reflection correctly measured and labeled on the model and blueprint. Clear labeling, B, H walls, angles, and not possible explanations were needed. Model matches one of the drawn designs. Walls and angles constructed accurately. Ball follows the intended path. And student makes the hole for extra points. Here's the scorecard for when we all finish our models. You have the 4 people playing in your group, put their name, and indicate how many times they have to hit the ball to make it into the hole. If you don't make it after 4 tries, just write 5 in the box and go to the next hole. You'll add up holes 1 through 9 to get total 1. You'll add up holes 10 through 18 to get total 2, and then add up total 1 and total 2 to get the final score. The player that gets the smallest number at the end wins the game. For the hole that you signed up to do for your model, you'll draw it again on the graph paper provided on the last page. You'll put which hole it is. Hole I am making a physical model of, 1 through 18, put the number here. Draw bank strategies for 1 wall, 2 walls, and 3 walls using the 3 different colors from before. If a strategy is not possible, explain why, such as it going through the wall. Measure the angle of incidence, reflection, and the remaining angle. You can use a protractor for this. Note, if the angle of incidence and reflection are not about the same, go back and redraw the lines. So we do 1 bank, the 2 angles of incidence and reflection should be about the same, and then you'll do 180 minus those 2 angles to get the remaining angle. The same thing is true for doing the 2 bank walls and the 3 bank walls. When you're done with the paper, make your physical model. Remember, the 2 main goals of this project is to find strategies to get that hole in 1 and to make a functioning miniature golf course. I hope you have fun with this project.